have others are online, so probably that's why the numbers are like this, but at least you are recognized. I want also to recognize the presence of the media houses. You can take seat. The presence of the media houses. Please wave. Yes. I want also to recognize the presence of Madame Nuriat. Nuriat is known in the ecosystem of entrepreneurship at MAST. She's the manager of Camtech, and she will be moderating us in this session. I want the Flemish visitors, please stand up also for recognition. The Flemish visitors. Flemish visitors. So it's among these ones that we shall be getting the guest lectures, and I hope it will be a rewarding event. In a special way, I want to recognize the presence of the Faculty of Business Dean. Please wave for us. And in a special way, I want to recognize the presence of our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance and Administration, but at the same time, the Principal Investigator of UCoBS. We honor you for being with us today, and now we are sure that top management is with us. Thank you very much. Myself, who is standing in front of you, I'm known as Tumhimbise Manasseh. I believe few of you don't know me, but most of you know me. I'm here as the team leader of Sub Project 5 and the organizer of this session. I want to thank you for having turned up in these numbers, because you are making this possible. It would not be possible to enter this hall and I find it empty and this lecture proceeds. So I want to clap for yourselves. Everyone, thank you very much. What is UCoBS? UCoBS is an abbreviation of University as a Facilitator of Community-Based Solutions. And in particular, Sub-Project 5 is responsible for promoting or enhancing youth employability through skilling, through experiential learning, through innovation, and above all, through technology transfer. To achieve this goal as a university and as a project, we have been in collaborations. And one of the key collaboration is the Flemish collaboration that is making this event possible. First of all, they are the funders under the Virus program. Secondly, we are collaborating also with the University of Howest in Belgium. And the Flemish visitors present here today have all traveled that way to be with us. Therefore, what are we aiming at as a project? We want to strengthen the entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. And we have a stream of activities that we have to undertake in order to realize this dream. Next door here, we are trying to set up the Entrepreneurship Center. In other words, we want to have a home where we can be identified from and then start engaging with the community. And this community starts with the university and stretches outside the university. And I believe this goal is possible because we are together as we have convened now. Without wasting much time, I would wish to talk about the purpose of this session. This session is intended to share with you the experiences from the European perspective. We know we have startups in Uganda, but we are also aware that we have startups in Europe. We want to see what is being done there that we are missing here so that we perfect ourselves. Remember our goal is to improve youth employability. We are aware that one of the challenges for business startups is management of staff, because the human resource bonds together other resources to operationalize and realize the goals of every establishment. So in this session also, we shall hear that experience. How do you manage staff? And we are using a theory that you have been reading in the various calls that you have responded to. So without wasting much time, I would wish now to request my dean to come up and give us some opening remarks, and thereafter we see what follows. Dean, you are welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is not coming out. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I use the other one. Succeed? That is great. I'm told that I'm supposed to give opening remarks when the DVC F&A is here. And you told me just introduce. And this is what I'm going to do. It is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speakers today, who are going to talk to us about the most common personal financial planning. And I normally tell Ugandans that if you don't plan, failure to plan is a plan to fail. So we should always plan whatever we are doing. This subject, startup scaling and determination theory, in which we should all be deeply interested in, is very important in our life. What they are doing will have an effect on themselves. If you are planning to start up that kiosk, is it going to have an effect on you? If you feel that it is going to have an effect, don't listen to others. People will always talk in entrepreneurship. I started that business. Let us wait and see. So, but when you are motivated, self-determined, you prosper. Our speakers, I'm sure you have spent a lot of entire life that side, advising Europeans. But Mbarara is few miles from Europe. That's why they are here. Ladies and gentlemen, before I invite the DVC F&A to come and address us, join me in welcoming home Randy and Thai by clapping. That is great. Feel at home. This is a land of milk and honey. Hopefully you have tasted honey and milk, but don't take too much. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite our DVC F&A, Professor Kazova, to come and give opening remarks. Members, we don't expect questions. These are opening remarks. Okay? No questions. The questions will be for these Ugandans here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, ladies and gentlemen. When somebody stands in front of people like you, senior scientists, and I look on my left, in the middle, and again look at my right, I see very, very important persons, people who have got the CPUs, the central processing unit. But you see, I also see somebody who is eager to learn to understand, because every day you have to learn something. And thank you for coming to this session, a very important section to me, very, very important. To our colleagues who have traveled, I'm yet to get the names, but Rwanda and sees, I know the names. Thank you for choosing. I'm using the word choosing Mbarara University of Science and Technology to network, to interact with, to learn from each other. And I know for you who are growing in your career, there is a lot you are going to learn from this part of the world, Uganda. And thank you for coming. Now, when you stand here and we are going to be given a dose of how to be innovative, how to be enterprising. You can imagine it to be enterprising, from start. And then you scale up. Just imagine a scenario. If I am standing here and I'm going to the other direction, this is a start. But you see, you take a lot of time. You should take a lot of time when you are trying to start. Take a lot of time. That's the planning component. And I'm reminded of words which are not mine. That's Napoleon Hill, and this is what he said something. If I have got 5 hours to cut a tree, to chop down a tree, 5 hours, I had used the 4 hours to sharpen the axe, and then use the 1 hour to cut the tree. So what does that one mean? You can imagine you have got 5 hours. That's what you have planned to cut a tree. Then you spend a lot of time on the planning. That's the 80%. All the time you have 80%. And once you have used the 80%, that means cutting the tree, knowing where it is going to fall, and some of the hardships, some of the problems you are likely to encounter. I can assure you, you will do an excellent job and you will cut down the tree. So when we are talking about starting, scale up, kindly, at the back of your mind, at the back of my mind, use the 80% to do the planning. But once you do the planning, start. By the way, it's a rule. You have done the planning. It's a rule. You start. You cut the tree. You start the business. You innovate. And every time. And along the way, you'll meet a hump. It's a hump, you'll meet it. Like across that road, on that road, you must have seen the humps. The humps is only telling you, just throw a bit. You will use time, you will lose resources. But once you overcome the hump, then you accelerate. You accelerate. Start and scale up. I may as well add on. Start small, keep growing. Just start small. Through a hustle, start small. Keep growing. You are retarded, but you have to start. You have to move. You have to move. So for this particular partnership of the university, and thank you, Dean, for this particular partnership of this university, if I can share with you how we started. At first, I was alone. When I conceptualized this core, I was talking alone. I had been planning for it. I knew the core was going to come up. But I needed the team to visualize, to help me achieve this planning, this goal. So in other words, when we'll be talking, and they will be talking over there, all along as you are reflecting, you are using the 80%, try to look for the best networks, the best teams to work with. And if, for example, you call upon somebody, hello, come and this is an idea which we can sharpen, we can twist around. And if that person says, I'm sorry, I'm very busy, for you, move on. Start. Scale up. Scale up. Why should you, for example, only make one step? Sometimes you can make this step, but then another one, you move it faster. That is what it means, colleagues. Very, very important. And I'm happy as far as this partnership is concerned. Faculty of Business and Management Sciences is visible. And thank you, Dean, and your team for ensuring that Faculty of Business and Management Sciences is visible. To some extent, I'm selfish. The faculty is the one that grew me. So when I see the visibility of the faculty, then why not? I appreciate. And thank you when we shouted that we needed somebody to work with on this important sub-project. And when we say, like, you are making a roll call, and when we said, Howest University of Applied Sciences, then Liz, your former, now UC's, now Rwanda, you said, we are present. And I know the many, since now you are present, there is a lot which Mbarara University of Science and Technology is going to benefit from you. Now to you students, to you young scientists, start small. Keep growing. Be a hustler. For example, when I'm going there.
Once again, my name is Nambogo Nuriat. I work with Camtech Uganda. Dr. Manasseh had already introduced me, but I'm also a member of Project 5 that is here. Like he said, there are many other sub-projects, but ours is Project 5. So you're most welcome, and I'm going to be taking you on the next sessions. So we are supposed to have some of the teams that are supported and have been supported under Project 5 to share with us about their projects, but we are giving them only 5 minutes, talk about their projects and the progress, then we will go in for the guest lecture. The two teams that we have here today is GASU, which is Give a Skill Uganda, and I would like to call you to be close here. And then the second team is EcoFair. Kindly walk forward. I think GASU team can present first if you're ready, and then we can have the next team. Is GASU here? We have a number of projects, teams that have been supported, but because of time, we just picked on only 2 that can share with us. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Oh, the energy is low. However, my name is Akampura Daffin. I'm the founder and the director or CEO of Give a Skill Uganda. It is an organization that empowers women and youth with skills for enterprise development. I attended the boot camp for UCoBS in February last year from 7th to 9th, 2004. And trust me, I had this organization. I had registered it in 2020. But after registration, I went back and slept. I didn't do anything. But when I saw this call of UCoBS calling for entrepreneurs to come and be part of the boutique camp, I was so excited to be part of it because I had the entrepreneurial skill in me, the spirit that was driving me to go in entrepreneurship journey. But then I didn't ignite it. So I decided to go for this training, and yes, I did. I was accepted to be among the members who took part of it. And in this training, I was super excited, I was energized and empowered to go and serve the community. The best thing I loved about this boutique camp is that they were focusing on youth employability, which is actually a very big challenge in Uganda. Most of the youth don't have jobs. They graduate each and every year, but they don't have what to do. If you have to get a job, then you have to first bribe. And then they're asking you for 5 years of experience. Yet you're out of campus. When are you going to get experience when you're not given an opportunity? Yet we as youth, we have the power to create our own jobs. So my focus went on to youth employability. And then I said, now I have my organization. I went back, unpacked my papers. I looked for my organization's document. I say this is the beginning of where I started or where I stopped. So from that training, they taught us how to market our products. I remember we were grouped into 5 to 8 members, and then they gave us 50,000 to go and sell. Just to go and make business, we only want profits. We don't know what you're going to do. What we need is profits. Then we went out. We went out. And trust me, before we went out, I had wine. I was making wine, but it was at home. I didn't market it. I was selling to people who knew me, who knew what I was doing. But then when they gave us 50,000, we said, now what are we going to buy? People went and bought juice. They made fruits. And I said, but I have wine at home. Maybe I can bring wine. We sell. Then when we get money, you pay me. So I went home, brought the wine. We sold to some of the members who were around. And we managed to make some money. And after they gave me my money, and I went back home. I think we were the second. Yes, we were the second. And then we shared the profits at the end of the day. So that gave me a chance to know I have wine at home. I'm not marketing it, but this is a good strategy. I can give my wine on a loan. Someone sells it, then I pick my money later without getting the direct cash from people. So that was a very big step, and trust me now, my wine is making well. I go sell people on a loan. At the end of the week, I go collecting my money. I thank UCoBS for that because it has promoted my product and it is moving. So from there, as it also told me that it's not about me, but other people who are around us. Because if you're better, if you're well off and your children, you're okay, you're in a mansion, you're what, and other people are not okay, trust me, your wife, your children, or your boys or your girls are going to marry or get married to those people who don't have jobs. They are going to suffer. Or even the people who are around you, your neighbors themselves, they might come to steal from you because they are not well off. So I said, why can't I do something to make the youth come out and we also be successful together? So I got my papers with Give a Skill Uganda. I started up mobilizing youth and training them in different skills. Right from petroleum jelly, liquid soap, bar soap, making books, counter books, crocheting, all those kind of products. I tried to train them into them. So when we were training them, it was last year, the same year when we got the training in February, then it was in June when I got a call from UNICEF. I was given $5,000 because of the efforts that UCoBS had given us. So we managed to use that $5,000 to empower the youth in refugee settlement, that is Nachiva refugee settlement. For now, we are empowering them with those skills. And when they finish, or when they graduate, just like we graduated from UCoBS, we give them the startup capital for them to start up their own business. And in Mbarara, we are also doing it in Nyakayojo. I'm grateful to Dr. Manasseh when I was launching the program. He came around, he witnessed it. Very many women are doing amazing products, which I teach them, and then they sell them. They get money out of it. So I'm so proud of UCoBS, and I must say that I'm a proud alumni of this cohort. Surely I do request everyone to come and support this. And if you have any member who can be willing to be part of it, kindly recommend them. It is very good. It will not leave you the same. However much small you have, keep moving. The marketing skills you get, the entrepreneurship skills you get, just use them. Don't sleep at home with it. Just like I had slept from 2020 up to 2024. If I had not gone for that training, I wouldn't have changed my life and the life of the people around me. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's so interesting. Can we give her another hand clap? Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's as she was sharing, I was really like getting motivated. I think this is our project, and all of us, we can be part of it. Let's now invite EcoFair to also share with us their story.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, our dear guests, delegates from the university, fellow entrepreneurs, you're welcome for this very important session today. We are looking forward to the guest lecture. My name is Ernest Sewanyana. I'm a medical doctor trained from MAST last year, and I had the singular opportunity to be mentored under UCoBS with a business that was a startup then and is scaling up now, EcoFair Packaging. I'm here today with one of my fellow directors, two members of a very big team, to present to you about the first mile of our journey, the far we have come with UCoBS from the boot camp that we had of level 2 training last year in March. With me is Leo.
Hello, everyone. Good morning to you all. Yes, my name is Leonard Arhomcha. I'm an environmentalist by profession. As Dr. Ernest said, I'm a co-director and co-founder of this startup. The last time we were here, I think it was which month? March last year. I was not here personally, but we had a representation of the team. And by then, we were called EcoFair Packaging. But as time has evolved, and like all humans do, we evolved and got a new name that we can call our name, that we have formalized and registered. We are now called Nova Eco Packaging. If you could excuse us, we are trying to project a little bit of what we have prepared for you, just to showcase the journey visually, how far we have come since that time. So in the meantime, I could share with you a brief history and how far we have come. So we began this startup in 2019. It was purely briefcase, just establishing rapport with people who knew us, who could trust us to deliver, and we deliver, and they pay, things like that. And primarily, we were dealing with paper bags, but as time went on, we enlarged the idea to include packaging. So what we are doing now, our business now focuses on eco-friendly packaging strictly. So things to deal with boxing, cartons, bags, and everything. So it could be cotton bags. As what we normally do is we speak to a client, find a packaging solution for them that is eco-friendly. So probably someone has been using Kavera to package something, someone has been using plastic or foam, and we find a solution for them that is eco-friendly. It could be paper, it could be a biodegradable material, it could be cloth or cotton. So we are now focusing on eco-packaging strictly. So what makes our products unique at this point? We have made a bit of research, and we have made sure that, one, our products are food grade, because the biggest market we have is the food and beverage industry. So most of the products we are using, we are making sure that they are certified to use in the food and beverage industry. So our paper is actually food grade. So thank you. Yes, so the last time we were here, we were Eco-Fair Packaging Solutions. That now is gone. So we are now called Eco-Fair Packaging Uganda Limited. And we are here to share our journey of, just go back. Thank you. We are here to share our mile one. So this is the first mile of the journey of 1,000 miles. Yes. So as I've been telling you, that's some of our products. So paper bags, paper boxes, the cartons. So people who are packaging anything, it could be a medical device, it could be an electrical device, it could be a cloth, anything. Next slide. Thank you. So I was just explaining what makes our products stand out. As I've been telling you, all our products, we are making sure that they're certified to first of all, hold food and beverages, to withstand the time that food can keep on the shelf, that they are not toxic to cause contamination of the food that they are being packed in, and things like that. The second point is that our products, we're making sure that most of our products are actually customer-centric. And that's why we insist, unlike other startups or other bigger enterprises which have off-the-shelf products, so you come and take what they have done. We don't do that. We actually first talk to the customer and make sure that we are providing exactly what the customer needs. And that's why our products are customer-centric. Another thing is that also our products are customizable. So you must have seen probably in the grocery stores you walk to or supermarkets, most of the on-shelf products are branded the company that is making them. But our products, as much as we can, we are trying to customize them for the particular client that we are working for. And that has really changed lives for the few customers we have had as per now. As we speak now, at this stage, we still have maintained a zero waste manufacturing stage, and we are proud of that because we know that in the world where we're trying to deal away with plastic and waste and all that stuff, it's a big mileage, and we would be proud that if we manage to maintain it as we grow, even as we scale up, we manage to maintain the zero waste. I think you could, I will let Dr. Ernest come and continue from here.
Thank you so much, Leo. So we are now going to talk about briefly the impact of UCoBS in our work thus far, from startup to scale up. In March, Feb and March last year, what we had and most vital was mentorship. Some of the sessions we went through about customer engagement drills are what we have applied to reach the impact that we are going to show you in the next slides. We've also improved our record keeping. We have a working Google Drive where we keep all our documents, and our directors are in different parts of the country. We keep following, and each and every day we meet and discuss everything. And something that was very innovative and new to us that has helped us right now is the customer relations matrix. Brian is not here, but he taught us a very interesting lesson that hope is not a strategy. Instead of sitting back and hoping for clients to reach out, we've really gotten our hands dirty. We've had a lot of protracted discussions with clients. I've just replaced my shoes after opening shop in November. my shoes got old because of walking around, that some of their sales have actually doubled since they started using our paper bags instead of Kavera that they were using. Some of that is what I've been told in the previous slide. It's very important to note that starting out is not easy. Looking back since that we are tracking to this day as 1.5 million shillings in 3 months. We've created a full-time job for a mother of 2 from Kakoba, as well as a daily lunch allowance. We've created indirect jobs for designers who design the designs we use to customize for our customers, as well as carriers who help us deliver our products, and so many others. And we've also trained 2 young people, a young lady and gentleman, senior 4 dropouts, I may say, in the trade. But because of issues with capital and financing, we've not been able to employ them. But we are glad to know that they have the skill, and anytime they are available to work for us or anyone else. And we've also created partnerships with other businesses in Mbarara, especially people dealing in stationery. Yeah, I think we all know that life is not void of challenges. And this is the storm that we are going through. We've had so many, couldn't list all of them there, but when we look back and see how much we've been spending to get the business on ground and actually keep it running, it's not adding up with the sales yet, and that's understandable because the clients are not yet very many and they're not yet paying that much. But we are looking forward to strategies to actually incorporate these operational costs into our sales revenue and actually make profits by June this year. Yes, our employees are also overworked because the work is a lot and we don't have a lot of money to employ helpers. So they really burn out. So this is where we are going. Maybe 1,000 miles, as they say, and more. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Team EcoFair, for sharing with us. I remember when Dr. Ernest came to my office. I don't know whether you still remember that day. And you are telling me about this idea, how you want to make packaging, and you are doing it from Kampala, and now you're here. Congratulations. Thanks to UCoBS for the encouragement, the trainings. These are for us, staff, students, especially the young people. There are so many people who are giving testimonies. On Monday we were in Kampala and we had some other young people who have gained from our trainings here, UCoBS, and they were sharing their testimonies and telling us how far they are and how their businesses are growing. There is no small idea. When you look at Ernest and his idea and his colleague, it looked small, but it can take them far. To the extent of employing other young people, they are giving employment, they are training other people, and this is what we need to change our communities. Whether someone is a graduate or not, but the skill you earn, you can transfer that skill to another person to be better or to be close to where you are. Thank you so much, Team GASU and EcoFair, for sharing with us. Can we give them another round of applause? Okay, without wasting any more time, we are going into our guest lecture session where we have 2 experts who will be sharing with us their experiences, knowledge about the 2 topics that we will be talking about. I will be introducing them. I'll start with Mr. Thais Martins. Can you please stand up? They are both from Howest University, and they will be sharing with us. Mr. Thais is a senior lecturer at Howest under the Department of Business and Applied Informatics. He holds a Master's of Economic Sciences. He also he's a freelancer in business and IT, but he has a lot of experience in business. He will be sharing with us topic, from startup to scale. I would like to say that the people we have here, both physical and online, we have young people who are innovators, who are business people, we have university students, we have lecturers, so they are listening in and some of them are here. So the topic will be beneficial to everyone here. The innovators, most of us get stuck. You have a beautiful product, but you don't know how to take that product to market. You don't know how to scale that product. You don't know how to reach out to customers. You're just stuck with your beautiful product that you have built. We have people who have built businesses in their minds. Every day you're thinking about it, but you don't know where to start from. So I'm glad that we have him here, and let's welcome him with a hand clap. I will go ahead and invite him to give his talk or presentation. However, I would like to request that we will have a Q&A session. Just note down the questions that you would like to ask. Then after both of them presenting, I will introduce the next presenter after he has presented. After both of them presenting, we can invite in the questions, then they can both respond to the questions. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, Faith.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I want to thank for the invitation and the possibility to share some experience and ideas. I'm also very happy to see the first startups becoming reality. So that's also very aligned with my topic today, because I want to talk to you about the next phase. Okay, so now you are clearly in a startup phase, and that means that you are prototyping, you are starting, you are experimenting, and you are trying things out. And that's a very important phase. I want to refer to Professor Kazuba, his example. You first have to prepare before you cut a tree. And that is the startup phase. Okay? So in startup, we can also see it as going from 0 to 1. You start from scratch and you try to build something, a first prototype, a first product. So that is in fact the phase most of these companies that we are guiding in UCoBS are now acting marketable. Typically, that will be the founders who do that. So we already see a lot of founders here, or with 1 or 2, maybe 3 colleagues. So small teams. That is a startup. Today I will talk about the next phase. How this initial idea, in fact, called also the most difficult phase. Because you will witness a lot of growing pains, we call it. I will come back to that in another slide. And I hope a lot of you will also reach the last phase where you really become an established company and you can grow as far as you are able to, and you can conquer the world, and maybe one day we will see your product in a supermarket in Belgium. Who knows? That will be nice. Okay. The definition again between startup and scale up, I just included this slide because I want to highlight a few important differences where you can also maybe think for yourself as young entrepreneurs, are we already going to this next phase or are we still in this startup phase? What are the main differences? In startup phase, the main focus is product innovation. You are building prototypes. In software, we call it alpha versions. The first tests you are running, and you're trying to get as much feedback from the potential customers as possible to refine your product, to make it better, to make it, we call it marketable. You can go to the market with it, okay? That's the first thing. Once you enter the scale-up phase, you are done with prototyping. Your product must be finished, it must be ready, and you must be sure that there is a market for it and people are willing to pay for your product. So that's a clear difference, okay? The product. So what you're focusing on in the startup phase is what we call a product market fit. Is the market in need for my product? Is there a real problem and do we need to solve it? If it's not there, you have to experiment and pivot and try other things, okay? So that's important. It's called the product market fit. In the scale-up phase, you get a new focus. Your product is ready, but you want to sell it to as much customers as possible. So we enter what we call a go-to-market fit. It is in fact another expertise, because at that moment you are really discovering what are the distribution channels. Do we have to be in the supermarket? Do we have to be just in the market? Do we have to sell business to business? Okay, so you have a lot of possibilities, but you need to make a strategy for the sales. That is what we call go-to-market fit. Regarding the human capital, you will see that there is a large difference also between a very small company that's just starting and a company that tries to grow, because you will, I think the entrepreneurs amongst you will recognize, when you are in startup phase, you are doing everything. You are both a financial officer, you are a marketing specialist, you are also a research engineer. You have a lot of hats, okay? This is not possible anymore if you want to grow your business. So at that moment, you need to build teams and you need to let go of all this responsibility and give, we call it ownership, to the different members. And my colleague, he will also talk about the self-determination theory, and that is very close to that topic, okay? Regarding the financial part, it's also a huge difference, because if you want to grow a business, you will all recognize you need money, okay? You need to pay all these employees, you need to maybe have a new office, you need furniture for that office, you need computers, and so on. So when you are in startup phase, maybe you can still fund it with your own money or the money you get from friends and family. But in scale-up phase, maybe you will have to have a bank loan. Maybe you will have to find an external investor who believes in you. But that's also a very important difference between these two phases. Okay? Okay. Now I want to focus on 3 important domains that you will need to cover and put attention to if you want to grow your business. The first one is the product readiness. The second one is repeatable sales engine, and then I will say something about the human capital. Product readiness, it's in fact an equation that comes from customer value, multiple value capture, multiple scalability. Sounds maybe complex, but I go through the 3 words one by one. The first one is customer value. I'm talking about product readiness. Is your product ready to be delivered to 10, hundreds, thousands of customers? It has to be stable, it has to be robust, it has to be reliable, okay? If you're just only in startup phase, you're just testing, everything breaks once in a while, it's not ready, okay? It's not ready. So we need a product that is ready. And it's not only the product itself, it's also the market that should be ready for your product. I just added a nice example of this situation here, where even the most famous companies in the world happen to fail on this issue. I assume you all know Google. They have launched a Google Glass in 2014, and it was a huge failure. Nobody bought it, and they had to put down that project. So even Google fails at that topic. And what was the problem? People weren't ready for the product. They lacked market research, they didn't do their homework right, and they didn't talk to the customer, and they didn't know that the market wasn't ready for that product. 2014, now we are 2025, 10 years later, maybe the market would be ready, and now we're getting the VR glasses and we're getting the more fancy glasses from Facebook, but still it's a struggle for these companies to really launch these products. If we bring this back to your products, you should always ask yourself, who will buy my product? Are they willing to pay for it? Okay? Do they want to put the money on the table for my product? And then how much are they willing to pay for it? If you don't have this information and you don't do your market research profoundly, then you are not ready. You're not ready to scale your business because you're just shooting out in the wild and you don't know where you will end up. So that's what I mean with, are you aware of the customer value of your offering? Second is the value capture. And that is a very difficult one. I'm quite aware of that. How much should I ask for my product? What is the customer willing to pay for my product? And also, large companies are always struggling with this. A company I work closely together with is a Belgian startup that's now a $1 billion company. Odoo, I've also introduced it here at the UCoBS project. Well, they also struggled in finding the right value proposition, okay? So what we mean with this is, if you build your business model, also try to find the best way of pricing your product. Is it a monthly fee that you will ask? Is it a recurring revenue that you try to establish? Is it a one-shot fee you will ask? And how much will you ask? Market research, make sure that you have this homework be done, okay? So that is also important. And then you have the topic of scalability. Not every business and every product is as scalable as some, okay? So you also need to be honest at this topic. How scalable is my business? Are we able to really grow a really large market for it? But if you want to do that, there are some prerequisites that you need to check. Is my product robust and qualitative? You don't want to distribute your product to the whole world and that you have a lot of failures and they have to send it back. That is not a good plan, okay? Also in the processes you are running, you need to think of automation and efficiency. Are we able to do things in a digital way, in an automated way, or are they a lot of manual steps? You have to be ready. If you want to scale and suddenly the market accepts your product and it becomes very popular, you have to be ready and you have to automate and make the processes as efficient as possible. For that, I have a background in IT and software implementations and so on. But for example, in IT, if you want to scale a software product, your support documentation, your help desk, and so on, they also should be ready. If somebody has a question, there should be a fixed procedure where they can ask their question, where they can find help. It's also an example. And you also have to think of the customer touch points. We are in a world where you have to put the customer in the middle. They are the most important stakeholder of your company, the customer. So where will they be interacting with your company, and how will we design these moments that they feel the most important person in the world? Okay, that's also something that should be there if you want to scale your product. So customer value, is your product needed? Is there a market for it? Do people want to buy it? First thing. Second, how much will I ask? What is my business model? Also important. And is my business scalable? Do I have the processes in place to really be ready if it attracts a lot of traction and people start to buy the product? Are you ready for it? That's what we mean with readiness, okay? It's important. Okay, the second domain I want to cover, it's about the sales. Because I think people who have an enterprise here and who have a startup, they will recognize this slide, that as a founder, you are living your product and you are living your problem you are trying to solve. So you have been doing this maybe for 1 or 2 years, so you know every aspect of that journey. Once you enter the scale-up phase, it is not possible anymore as a founder to do all the sales yourself. You might be the best salesperson for your product. You can be sure of that because you live the product. But at a moment, you will also have to let go and you have to give responsibility to new people if you really want to become large. Okay, so that's my point here. Maybe you cannot expect the same results from somebody new, okay? But you have to adapt this expectation and also give them time to grow in their new role as a salesperson and to also become a new ambassador for your product. Okay? This is a typical sales engine where you start with a marketing campaign, you create a lot of leads, and these leads become prospects, and then you have salespeople who try to convert them into sales. Okay? Don't forget the customer success. Afterwards, it's not because somebody became a customer and you have sold them something that from then on you have to ignore or neglect them. Then it becomes very important to also be on top of that phase and you keep the interaction, because these customers who are happy with your service, happy with your product, become your best salespersons. They will talk to their neighbors, they will talk to their family, they will make promotion for your product, and they become in fact your best salespersons. So also put a lot of effort in what we call customer success. Okay? Customer success. Maybe some lessons about sales. We can write very extensive books about it, but I just give you 4 key lessons I've learned. Don't be too humble. Once you're in scale-up phase, that means that you have proven your value. People want to buy your product, so they are aware of the added value of your product. So at that moment, don't give away something for free anymore. And the customers, they will try. Okay? They will always try, oh, you sold me this product, can you come by and explain me a little bit? Can you maybe add something extra and so on? And you are so happy that you have sold your product, so you're doing all for free. In the scale-up phase, you have to let that go, and you have to also be proud of your product, of your service, and also ask money for extra services. Okay? That's one key lesson. There's one exception, and especially for B2B businesses, so business-to-business companies. If you can do a large sale to we call it a high-value customer, a very big name in the market. For example, you have a B2B product in software and you can sell it to a bank, for example, or to a very important government institution, or maybe to the university. Then you have to go deep. You have to go all the way, and you might do some extra hours. You might give away things for free. But once you get this reference, that is also a very huge promotion for your product, and you can use this reference in all your sales talks that will follow. Okay? So for a high valuable reference, go deep. If you form a sales team, salespeople, they think in shillings. I've put dollars here, but they think in shillings, they think in money, and they want to become rich themselves. Okay? You can also install incentives when you form a sales teams, where you, for example, put objectives, and if they reach their objective, you give them a bonus, you give them some extra money. Okay? So this is also something you should think of. Adapt the remuneration to the results, if you think of salespeople. And one last thing about sales, I will get this slide. It's maybe a little bit strange here, but I just want to give you the message. Adapt your sales efforts to the customer you are aiming at. So also, what gun will you use to shoot which animal? You understand? If you want to shoot high value customers, elephants, then you will need maybe a bazooka. Not a kazuba, but a bazooka. If you want to shoot the mice, for example, you could use a small gun. The idea here is, again, if you want to target large, huge amounts, you should also put a lot of effort into it, and you have to form a good sales team that maybe one deal can take 6 months to a year, but once this deal has been closed, a lot of revenue will come back to the company. Okay? So adapt your sales of efforts also to the type of customer you are targeting. That's the message here. Okay, and then one last thing about human capital. I've put this slide here because I want to give the story about when I was last year when my son was crying in his bed and he called me. He said, I'm hurting. And it were what we call growing pains. So growing pains, if young people grow up, sometimes they're hurting and they just get growing pains. Well, that's the same for startups growing into scale-ups. You will see, if you grow and more people come on board, that a lot of frictions and not so nice situations will occur. For example, it's not clear who has which role. Everybody just doing things. For example, the early employees, once the speed is growing and the company is going very fast, they cannot keep up and maybe they are not ideal persons anymore for your company. But that's very difficult to tell somebody. So it becomes emotional. Who will you promote? Who becomes the CFO? Who becomes the head of engineering? And so on. Difficult questions. And then you will also see that you constantly are changing processes, so people need to adapt, and that's not an easy situation. Okay? So, a few tips and tricks. What can you do to tackle this? Because these things will happen, and you will have to face them, and you have to counter them. There are some tips that you can follow, but it's not fixed science. It's something that you will learn along the way, of course, but you can maybe take this with you if you are growing your company. Give people responsibility. Don't try to be on top of every issue. It's not possible anymore. You only have 24 hours in a day, and maybe you have 40 employees. You cannot be on top of every discussion, every problem that arises. So give responsibility and ownerships, but with accountability. That you do feedback sessions, that you give them your impression, and you also try to help them in improving their job. Okay? So responsibility and ownership, I think, is the most important one if you try to grow a business, and you have to let go as a founder. You can only do this and make it possible for people if you set clear objectives and key results. Okay? I think that is quite obvious. But don't be too strict, and also give people freedom in how to achieve these results. Don't try to be the person who tries to lay out every step on the way. Also give people the freedom to find their own way in achieving the goals. One thing that also chases people from your scale-up is ineffective meetings. Okay? Just try to run effective meetings that are on topic, that have an agenda, and have the right people on board, and that there is also, after the meeting, accountability, that people who promise things also are faced with their promises, and they have to show the results. Okay? Accountability. And last thing, celebrate successes and install a constructive feedback culture. If you do all these things right, and it's not something that is easy, it's also not a straight line to the top. It's with a lot of boundaries and struggles, but you have to take into account this will be your main challenges along the way. Make sure that your product is ready, and the market is ready for your product, build a sales team and give away responsibilities, okay? And the end, also think of your human capital and make sure that they don't leave your company because you are not running it in a professional way, okay? I want to thank you for your attention. The questions will follow later, and I want to pass the floor then to my dear colleague Randy to give his speech.
Right, thank you so much. Can we clap for him again? I am sure most of us, everyone here was attentive because we have several key take-home messages. Me, what I learned, 2 key take-home messages. One is that before you start up any business, you must do your market research very well. I'm an innovator because we run an innovation hub, so I work more with innovators, but I'm also an innovator. And we always emphasize that if you don't find out what the problem is and spend more time to understand the problem, then you're building that innovation for yourself. The same applies to business. Any business idea starts with you identifying the need. My second take home is you cannot do all the sales yourself. So at a certain point as you're scaling up, you need a team of people who will speak out, spread the gospel on your behalf, but people you have trained. I am sure everyone has their own take home, but those are my 2 key take home messages. Thank you so much, Thais, for that interesting lecture or presentation. Please note down all your questions. We are going to have time for the Q&A. Our next presenter is, he is the program manager or dean, Faculty of Business and Organization at Howest University of Applied Sciences. He is also, so we have only big people here. We have a full dean sharing with us his knowledge. He holds a Master's of Public Management. He also has a Master's of Law. And he has been at Howest University for 7 years. So he's so much experienced. Before then, he was running a consultancy company with colleagues where they were specifically training organization employees in employee motivation and other related aspects of making sure that an employee is retained, motivated, and they can deliver quality to the organization. Today, the person I'm speaking about is Mr. Randy Lamiel. I was asking him how to pronounce his name. He's going to speak to us about employee motivation using the self-determination theory. So some of us here are entrepreneurs, but we have people who are also, so entrepreneurs will hire people, but even the young people, as you get out there to look for employment, to start up your businesses, this is a topic that is key and we can benefit from it. So Mr. Randy, you're most welcome to take up the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agandi, everyone. Agandi, good morning. I'm very happy to be here in Uganda. It's my first time in Uganda, and I'm impressed about the beauty of your country, the nice people I see here. And it's an honor to talk for so many young, talented people. In Belgium, I'm a program manager in Howest, and together with a team of 55 colleagues, we can stimulate students in the development of a very important part of their life, and that gives me motivation. And I'm always proud to show this picture because I think it shows the dynamics of our team and it shows the motivation of each individual. And I think motivation is a key factor, as Thijs said, for a company, but also in your daily life. If you have hobbies, if you have family, motivation is very important because I think it's more enjoyable to work with motivated people, but it's also more effective. You will gain better results if the people around you and you are motivated. And that's why I would like to give you a presentation about motivation. And during my presentation, I would like to use the self-determination theory as background, as guide. And if you are interested in it, the founding fathers of the self-determination theory are DC and Ryan. So if you are inspired, you should look up the research of DC and Ryan about the self-determination theory. The main question today is how can we create a positive and lasting impact on someone's motivation? And to answer this question, I would like to have some topics. First of all, I would like to show you that there are different types of motivation. Someone can be motivated for reason A, another person can be motivated for reason B. So there are different types of motivation, and I will show you that not each type of motivation is high quality motivation. You have types of motivation who are low quality motivation, and you have types of motivation who are high quality motivation and who are sustainable. If we know which types of motivation there are and which types are positive types of motivation, we will look how can we stimulate the positive types of motivation. What can we do as a business owner, as a manager, as a project manager, as a project leader, as a family member, what can we do to stimulate the positive motivation to other peoples? And I would like to conclude my presentation with a case study. It's a case of a company that I had the honor to coach. It's a Belgian company who used the self-determination theory in a change management project. So I will show the theory in practice at the end of my presentation. First of all, I would like to ask you, why is it important to have motivated colleagues or motivated friends or motivated employees? Why is it important?
Because whatever we do in an organization, it depends on the people who are managing the organization. Better to have people who are motivated so that they can parachute like the one I see.
Yeah, that's right. Other examples of why it is important?
I think it reduces on work stress.
Okay, it can reduce stress. Yes, it's a very good answer. We will see that some types of motivation can increase stress and other types of motivation will decrease stress. So it's important to have a good overview of the different types of motivation. I saw young people who were very motivated. They inspired me. They convinced me about their project. So it's very important to have motivated colleagues, motivated employees, motivated persons around you. Who can you tell if someone is motivated? What can you see if someone is motivated or is not motivated?
They are always determined and focused to the goal.
Very good. They are focused at the goal. You have to set goals for your company. You have to set goals for other things. And if you see, oh, that's a person who wants to support that goal, you see that someone is motivated. Take a walk.
Someone who is motivated, they are always having energy. You can see life in them.
Very nice, very good. Yes?
Someone who is motivated is happy to go the extra mile for the project.
Very important. You want people who run the extra mile. If you have to do an extra effort, that there are people who do that.
Someone who is motivated is always proud of their company, organization.
It's very nice, very good example. So we can see that people are proud about the company. People will run the extra mile. So if you see someone who is motivated, you can see it directly. So it's very clear if someone is motivated or someone is not motivated. I wanted to let you think about it. You don't have to tell me, but think about the situation where you were motivated the last 2 years, of the last 2 months. It can be an example in your personal life, in your school career. What motivated you and what was the trigger of the motivation? I would like you to think about it, about something that motivated you and why you felt that motivation. Yeah, maybe one example, yes, perfect. You let me run a lot, but it's good for the condition.
I'm George William, so I work as a GIS technician and at the same time as a research assistant. So this time I had been creating study maps, but my boss sometimes he would not comment, he would send them via email, and the feedback would not be that good. But at the end of last year, there's some map I drew using some new software, and he gave me good feedback and even used it in a presentation we had, and that motivated me to, like, it was fuel. Now I do work with energy and vibrancy.
Oh, that's a very nice example. We said we want that people run the extra mile, and it's nice if you have recognition of it. If someone says, good job, you have done it great, who gives you good feedback, that can give you motivation. And we will come back on that later on the presentation. So I give you a little definition. It's not that important, but a little definition about what motivation is. Yes. So motivation is behavior that you see. Some people run an extra mile. Some people are enthusiastic because they want to initiate, guide, and sustain a goal in their life. So if you have a goal and you believe in that goal and you have behavior to achieve that goal, you are motivated. For example, I want to play the guitar and I'm motivated to practice every evening the guitar. I'm motivated to get good results at school. I'm motivated to get a good job, to get a degree. So I'm motivated to go to school and to pay attention to the teacher. I'm motivated at job. I believe in my company. I want to support the goals of my company. So I'm motivated for the job I'm doing. It's not only the way you act, the behavior, but also the effort you put into your actions. If I want to run a marathon, I know if I run 1 time a week, if I train 1 time a week, it wouldn't be enough. I have to train each day or 5 or 6 times a week to run that marathon if I am motivated. So motivation is not only in professional life, but also in personal life. Today we will focus on professional life and we will look how can we motivate employees in our company or in our team. And as I said, hello? Yeah, push the button, sorry. There are different types of motivation. Not every motivation is high quality motivation. There are 3 big groups of motivation. You see that here below. There is no motivation in red. There is controlled motivation. People are motivated, but for the wrong reason. These are low quality types of motivation. And then we have the green part, 3 types of motivation, who is the high quality type of motivation, that is autonomous motivation. People do something for the good reason, and this type of motivation is sustainable. It's not short term, it's long term. First of all, we have a motivation. That's here. someone is not motivated. For example, I am employee, I don't believe in my company, I don't believe in the goals of my company, I don't want to work for those goals, so I quit my job. I'm student, I'm not interested in class, I'm not motivated to get my degree, so I leave the classroom. I'm happy to see that no one's leaving right now, so no, I'm a motivation until now, so I'm happy. So that's something you want to avoid in your company, that there are people who have no motivation. Because on the third row you see the behavior that people do if they are amotivated. There is a fear of failure, there is resistance, they are going to contra-work against you, there is uncertainty, and there is apathy. There is no feeling of empathy with your company, for example. So we have to try to avoid them. Then we have some people who are motivated, but who are motivated for the wrong reason. The low quality motivation. And we have two of them. And they can be very dangerous in company life. First of all, people can be motivated for an external pressure. People do something because they get rewarded, or they have fear to be punished. That's dangerous because sometimes that has a short-time effect. I think everyone wants a payment, a salary, if he or she is working. But if that's the only reason people are working in your company, the motivation will be short-term. If there is a competitor who gives a little bit more than you, people will leave you. So maybe people may be motivated because you give them a bonus, but if that is the only reason, it isn't sustainable. So we have to avoid this type of motivation as only motivation by the people. Second type of controlled motivation, low quality motivation, is the internal pressure. I do something because if I don't do it, I felt guilty. For example, I want to walk the extra mile because if I don't do it, my colleagues will be in trouble. Or if I fail, I will feel guilty. And you say one of the challenges in your company was burnout, stress. This is the main reason of stress and burnout in companies. That people run the extra mile, do extra things, do extra effort, but they do it because they don't want to feel guilty. You have also to avoid that. If you see people who are very stressed in your organization, you have to be aware that this type of motivation is present by these people, because they can also leave because they have a burnout or too much stress. So controlled motivation isn't good. We have to try to stimulate the green types of motivation, and that's autonomous motivation. These are the good types of motivation. Why are people doing the things they are doing? First example of autonomous motivation is utility-driven motivation. I think we saw a very good example of you this morning, where we see the impact you have on other people. For example, if you have a company with a big positive social impact, people can be motivated because they see their impact. If you know I'm a business owner and I can help 20 people, 20 employees with their job, that motivates me. Because you see the direct impact of your job. And that's very important, that people have the knowledge, what do I mean for other people? So make that very clear to your employees, to other people, what the impact is of these people, because that has a very big impact on the utility-driven kind of motivation. Second one is the value-driven motivation. People do something for the company because their personal values are the same values of the company. I saw the values of the Must University are teamwork, innovation, professionalism, respect. If some people say, these are my values, if I'm professor, if I'm lecturer at university, and these are my personal important values, I can identify with the company that I work. And I think everyone knows a mission and a vision. can be very important to have a very clear mission and vision that translates the ambition of your company in values where people can feel a sense of connection with. So try, if you have to hire employees, to search for people who have the same value of your company, because the value-driven motivation of these people can be triggered in a positive way. And third type of motivation, they say, is the most effective type of motivation, and that's intrinsic motivation. I do something because I have fun of it. I do something because I like my job, I like to do it. I learn something, I go to school because the courses, I think they are interesting. So if people do something because they enjoy it, because they think it's very interesting, you trigger the intrinsic motivation, which is a very effective form of autonomous motivation. If you can trigger utility-driven motivation, value-driven motivation, or intrinsic motivation, people will feel a sense of volition. They will show enjoyment. They will show, I enjoy my job. There will be energy. There will be persistence. If you have a startup and you have to go to a scale-up, we've seen that there are a lot of challenges. People who are autonomous motivated will maintain their energy to achieve these goals. People want deeper learning. People will develop to do their job better. So there is a lot of positive impact if there is autonomous motivation. So we have to try to stimulate this type of motivation. Before we look how we can do that, a little exercise for you. We've seen the different types of motivation: no motivation, low quality motivation, and high quality motivation. I would like to ask you, which type of motivation do you have if an employee or if a colleague or if a friend says to you, through my job, through my work, I feel that I can help people, that gives me a great sense of fulfillment. Which type of motivation can that be? Someone who knows the answer? So I can help people, give me a great sense of fulfillment. Yes?
I think autonomous motivation.
Yes, and which type? Is it utility-driven, value-driven, or intrinsic motivation?
I think it can be both values, but also like identifying what the values and I think
values, yeah, values, and maybe also utility-driven. I see the impact, so it can be indeed be value-driven motivation and utility-driven motivation. As a salesperson, I put in extra effort because I know I can earn a nice bonus with high sales. Which type of motivation is that? Who says this is autonomous motivation? Can raise the hand. Who says it's controlled motivation? Yeah. And which type of controlled motivation is it? Someone? Is it external pressure or internal pressure? Is it because I get a reward or I avoid a punishment? Or is it, which type of motivation is this? I don't care. Do you want these types of employees? No. It's the red, the A motivation, so we have to try to avoid it. I fully identify with the company's vision and it really motivates me. What type of motivation is this? You can scream at my lectures. Value-driven, very good, thank you. That's value-driven motivation. And last but not least, I try my best to complete my task well, otherwise I'll cause problems to my colleagues. Which type of motivation? Yeah, it's internal pressure. I do something because I'm afraid I will cause my colleagues trouble. As I said, the biggest trigger for stress for burnout in Belgium, burnout is the #1 of reasons why people are leaving the company for a long time or forever. So in Belgium, it's a big problem. People feel a lot of pressure over, there is improved. What we can do to trigger, and DC and Ryan, and it has been confirmed by every research that has done until now, say we have to stimulate autonomy, competence, and relatedness or connection with our employees. And Thijs already mentioned the responsibility, the feeling of autonomy is very important, but we are going to look at these 3 ingredients that are the key success factors for autonomous motivation. First one is autonomy. You have to know if you go to a scale-up, it's impossible to do everything yourself. You have to delegate some tasks to people. And you can do it in 2 ways. You can say to the person, you have to do it, you have to achieve that result, and you have to do it like this, like this, like this. And every step you take, you have to ask permission by me. I want to be in control of every part of the process that you are going to. And that is frustration for the sense of autonomy. DC and Ryan say, it's very important, as Thijs mentioned, as a businessman, as a project leader, as a teacher, that you set very clear objectives. It has to be clear for the people, where do I have to go? Where do I have to end autonomy? Why? If they can do it on their own way, they will feel a big motivation and they will feel authenticity. They can do it their own way. I have to put extra effort, but I can do it in a way that I feel comfortable with it. Ownership is also very important. Give responsibility to people. People will feel that you believe in them. We have a project and these are the results and I believe in you because you have proven in the past that you can do it and you can do it your own way. Okay? You have to report at me, I will give you feedback, but I'll let you go. I believe in you. That will stimulate the autonomous motivation with people. And we get voluntary independence, so people feel independence, feel a way they can act as they want to act. Things that you can say to people to stimulate the feeling of autonomy are, how would you do this? I think a mistake a lot of people make is, I have the knowledge, I am the boss, I have to tell you how you have to do it. It can be very motivational if you say to people, I listen to you, I'm the boss, but I believe that you have the knowledge, that you know what to do. You have the experience, you have proven it in the past. That gives a lot of motivation to people. I trust you that you can make the best decision. If you scale up, you become business owner, you have to surround you by people who are smarter in a specific domain than you are. And then you will become successful. Last thing you can say many things, but last example, what are your main goals for the next year? You can ask people, what are your ambitions? And do your ambition align the ambitions of the company? Do we have adjust the ambitions, yes or no? So empower your team to make decisions about the project. You can say, these are the objectives, but you have the empowerment to do it yourself. Involve employees if you make important decisions. That's change management. And in the last part of this presentation, I will give you an example of a change management project where the employees were very strong involved in the decisions the company made. And we saw that the change management was a big success because people wanted to achieve these objectives. Allow employees to select projects they want. Everyone has talents. Try to know the talents of each person and try to give the projects that align the talents of these persons. And focus on the outcomes rather than the rigid process. We already said that. So the first ingredient is autonomy. The bigger the feeling of autonomy is, the bigger the chance is that the autonomous motivation will be stimulated. Second ingredient is competence. I do something and I feel secure, I feel self-confident that I can do it. A big mistake in change is to make a change too quick, because then people can feel insecure. We have to use Odoo as new software program, but I don't know Odoo. Can I work with Odoo? And try to make it clear in the team which are the strengths of each individual. Let people give information sessions, for example, to other colleagues. In Howest, we have every month a learning bite, where one colleague gives a presentation about the topics where he or she is specialized in, where he or she is expert in, and they show it to the whole team. The whole team knows, oh, that's a specialization of that person, and it's recognition of that person that he or she is the expert in this. So also there, you're going to stimulate the autonomous motivation. Last tip is share compliments from customers. If you get positive feedback from customers, try to give that feedback to your employees. I was a few years ago at a company, and they received a lot of positive feedback of customers by mail, and they didn't anything with it. We said, you know what? Print these emails out, put them on the wall, and every Friday they had a drink with the team, and they looked at the positive feedback of the customers. That's very good for the utility-driven motivation. You see the impact of your work. It was in a building company, and people said, wow, they built the house of my dream. Well, the people saw the impact of the effort and were very motivated. What can you do to foster competence? I believe in your ability to handle this challenge. Your skills have grown so much. Let me know if I can support you. Give positive feedback is a very important one. I try to give 2 times a year feedback conversation to every employee. The team exists of 55 people, so 2 times means 110 feedback conversations a year. It's a lot, but you get a lot back of it, of motivation by the people. So we have autonomy, that's important. We have competence, and then we have the connection. The connection, the feeling of connection with the other team members, the feeling of connection with the company. I feel connected with the values of the company. I believe in the purpose of our company. I believe in the vision and mission of our company. That's the value-based motivation that can be triggered to support that. Thus, you give a sense of belonging to people. You plan team-building activities. You look how can people support each other. As boss, as manager, you don't have to do everything yourself. Try to stimulate that people give each other feedback. They are peers, but they can give each other positive feedback, or they can help each other. That will stimulate the connection between the people. You can work with mentorship programs. A mentorship program means that a more experienced employee gives support to a new employee. So that's his buddy. If I start and I have a mentor and I know I can ask everything at that person without being fear to look stupid, it can stimulate the feeling of competence to a person. Stimulate cross-departmental collaboration between people, involve employees in discussions that shape company policy. If you take important decisions about your company, try to stimulate impact of your employees. And try to be a supportive leader, try to be a coach, and try to restrict control and try to restrict authority to your people. And then DC and Ryan say, then you work on the connection in your company. So these are the 3 ingredients, and each research show that if you work on autonomy, on connection, and on competence, you will stimulate the autonomous motivation. And I would like to conclude this presentation with a case study. It's an example of a Belgian company that I had the opportunity to coach during 2 years. And the company was Centronics. They did installation of solar systems, solar panels they installed, and the company was booming. They started as a startup. The 2 business owners did the installations themselves, but they get work and work and work, And what was the trigger of the expand of work on the expand of demand of solar system? It was a decision of the Belgian government who decided to give subsidies, to give financial support to households and to companies who invested in solar systems. So 10 years ago in Belgium, if you bought a solar system, the government was paying a big part of the investment. So demand was rising, was booming, and they had a transformation from 2 people to 30 people in 2 years. It was a very fast expansion of their company. The only problem was, a few years ago, Zoual Demir, that's our former Minister of Energy, said we are going to stop with the financial support to solar system. No more financial support. And the business owners had a lot of fear because they knew the only product we have is these solar systems. And if financial support will be stopped, the demand on solar system will decrease, will fall down. And they were afraid of we have to lay people off if the demand is lower than today. And they knew we have to innovate. We have to look for other products or other services, or we have to look for other markets. But the employees were used only to install the solar systems. So for them, they knew this will be a very big change. So they decided to implement the principles of self-determination theory, and they asked me, how can we guide this change with the principles of self-determination theory? And first of all, we decided to communicate very transparent, to be honest. We had to be honest and say we have a very, very big challenge. A challenge that can have a very big negative impact on the future of our company, on the future of your job. So we were very clear of it. And in our communication, we used the golden circle of Sinek. I don't know if there are some people who know the golden circle of Sinek. I will write it down. It's a very good tool for communication. It was introduced in the marketing. And Sinek says, if you communicate something, always start with a why. Why do you exist? Why do you deliver the goods that you are delivering? What is your customer value? What is the added value you give to the customers? So start with the why. Then tell people how you do it and what you sell. And this model is also used in change management. And here we used the golden circle of Sinek. And we said to the people, to the employees, the only thing we are going to tell you is the why. Why do we have to innovate? We have to innovate for the future of our company. The how and the what aren't we going to decide. That we are going to ask to you. You employees, all the 30 employees who were present, have to tell us what we have to do to innovate and to secure our continuity of our company. And that's a very important tool for the utility-driven motivation. People have to change, but they see why they have to change. I have to get other skills because my job depends on the evolution we make as a company. So that's a very powerful tool to use for the utility-driven motivation. So we were very transparent and honest in our communication. The decision came bottom up, so it wasn't a decision top down. The people could say what their preference was, and to make the decision we used the ANSOF matrix. ANSOF, again, a very good tool. I'm also gonna write it down. Very good tool for innovation, and it structures your brainstorm for innovation. If you want an innovation in your company, you can say, we are going to offer new products and new services to existing markets or to new markets. Or we can have new markets with our same product portfolio, or we can have new markets with new products. And the employees of the company say, okay, we believe that we have to broaden our product portfolio. We're not only going to install solar systems, but we are also going to install charging stations. And we are also going to install heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems. Heating in Belgium is very important, by the way, because it's very cold in Belgium. So the employees said, okay, we know the how. We suggest to the business members to broaden their portfolio of products. And they did it. Next step, the business owners asked to the employees, what do you need to stay employee in our company? Because we don't want to lay off employees and hire new people. No, we want to go further with the team that we have today. We trust in you, and we want to hold you in the company. But to do that, you have to develop. You have to get new skills. And which new skills do you need to install charging systems and install heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems? And they set up a big training program for the employees, and every employee had his job. There were no layoffs. The company was keep growing. People believed in the company. There was very much sense of appreciation for the business owners. Why? Because there were a lot of ingredients of the self-determination theory. Autonomy, employees were given a voice to shape the future of the company. The business owner didn't say, you have to do that, or you're going to lose your jobs. And then you're going to stimulate the internal pressure. If I don't change, I'm going to lose my job. No, they gave a platform to the employees to think about the transformation of. If it's possible, if we get the goals and we get the objectives, no one's going to lose their job. We want to go further with every individual of the team. And we want to invest in our current employees. Maybe for them it was cheaper to lay off everyone and to hire new people, but they say, no, we make investments to keep you on board. My company cares for me. The company cares for my job. So there was a very big sense of appreciation for the company. And last, there was a big sense of competence, because everyone could say, my growing part, my development part, I see it that way or that way. Also there they had a voice to say, how can I expand their expertise? And as I said, I think today they have 50 employees. It grew from 2 to 30 with the big uncertainty, are we going back to 2 or are we going to grow? And today there are 50 employees thanks to the self-determination theory that they implemented in their change management. So you can see it can have a very big impact on the future of your job and so on. And to conclude, I would give you a few to imagine something you are motivated for. What's your dream? What's your passion? Consider which goals you have and you want to achieve. If you have clear goals, you will be motivated to achieve them. If you have a very direct goal, a very clear goal, then it will be easier to be motivated. Because the things you do it for the bigger goal. Choose for a job, if you can choose for a company where the values fit with your values, that you feel useful, that you feel that you have impact. Second thing, consider how you can stimulate others in their motivation. And we talked a lot about job-related, employment-related motivation, but you can also do it in your personal life. For example, I give piano. You have to play that piece and you have to play the actions of you can have a very big impact on the people. It will stimulate you, it will motivate you to give that motivation to other people. I hope I was able to inspire you a little bit about the self-determination theory, that you have autonomous motivation to get more about the autonomous motivation. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank all the colleagues of Must University for the hospitality, for the warm welcome. And I would like to thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We are motivated. at the end of the presentation. I think we've learned a lot. Like I mentioned at the start of, before I called him to start, to give his presentation. This affects everyone. If you're not motivated in whatever you're doing, just be sure that you're not going anywhere. If you're a student, there is something that keeps you motivated to do whatever or to come to class every day. We've seen students who don't come to class and those who end up not even graduating. What motivates you? What motivated you to take up that course? What is motivating you to start up that project? What is motivating you to have that business idea that is in your mind into a product or a service that you want people to benefit from? There are several key take-home messages from my side. I got to learn from your presentation that as managers, as business people, as directors, we have to have, first of all, the objectives clear to our employees, to our teams, and then we have to involve them at every step of whatever we do. In decision making, as managers, as CEOs, we can never do everything ourselves. And that means that it moves away from I to we. Even if the idea was yours, that's why we encourage people to move as a team. I can birth the idea, but I can never take that idea anywhere if I don't have a team. A team can be co-directors that you have started this company with. A team can be the staff that you get on board. Even if it's a cleaner, I tell people that every person in that organization is important. For you to have a list of the items that you want to buy for maybe the cleaning services in your company, you consult the cleaner because she knows or he knows what is best for her to do the cleaning, to do her job. So if you don't consult her, then you're not doing it well. If it's a project assistant, they need you to involve them in your decisions that you're making. Then, when we are trying to change, we change for the best. So as we are changing for the best, because we still we need our people or our teams to be involved. So thank you so much. I am sure that everyone has their own key take-home messages. At this moment, I would like to request you, first of all, to give another big hand clap to both presenters. And when we come to Mbarara, we always give you our local names. And the local names are given by our elders. So I would like to request Professor Kazoba to give our two presenters beautiful names that we shall call them as they are here.
But we are working as a team. We are working as a team. So, you know, there are 4 in this audience. So since we are working as a team, so I would do, can I also get a team, 2 of you? And then, so there are 4 in the room. So we are 4 here. So I'm the one going to start. Yeah. So I'm going to start. You know, to have a presentation like this, if we had to pay for such a presentation, it would be costly. Very, very expensive. So really we need to thank somebody who has made a presentation. So for Cs, tumwebaze. Tumwebaze, in other words, we thank you. Tumwebaze, I will write it for you. Tumwebaze, in other words, for us as a team, all of us, we thank you. That's what we're doing. So for you, you'll go over there. No. For you, you will go over there.
Okay, I'm Kopmas Marianita, and I'm in second year pursuing business administration. For the case of you, I'll give you Tumwesje. We trust you. Eh? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. My name is Kalemba Charles. I'm a business administration student, year 3. I'm going to give you a name. I'm in Uganda. So I'm going to give you Nampija. Though I don't know the other second name of yours, but the first one it's Nampija. It comes from Enteklan. Enteklan, it's a cow. So it comes from our origin, we are cattle keepers. So, like depending from where we are, the land of milk and honey, we are more depending on milk, and we really love milk. And I really request you to accept the name Nampija. Yeah.
You will write it and you pass it over to her.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Doreen Atwine. I'm pursuing a bachelor's in accounting and finance, and I'm in my final year 3. I'm going to give you a name too. I hope you will like it. Yeah, I'm going to give you Tuasima, which means we have appreciated.
Thank you.
Write it down for her. Thank you so much, Professor Kazova, and the people who have given the names. Those are beautiful names. So, yeah, that's how we do it here. At this moment, I would like to invite questions, so you can mention who the question is directed to. I want to make this a brief session because by 1 we should have closed. We can give it like 10 minutes and we are done. Q&A, if you have any questions, I need someone to help me move the mic. Oh, she has one. Any questions? Or comments? Anything? Okay, we have one here. Any other person this side?
Yeah, thank you so much. My name is Mariam, and my question goes to the first presenter. So on the issue of scalability, what do you consider if you really want to enlarge your business and look forward at producing things that are higher value? What do you consider if you want to scale up?
Okay, thank you. You can note the questions down. Yeah, then we will respond. You will respond once. Okay, any other person with a question or comment for either Faith or Martin or Randy?
Thank you, our presenters for today. I just have a comment for both Randy and Martins. For Martins, thank you for, before I came here, I didn't know the difference between startup and scale up, but now it's crystal clear. Thank you. For Randy, the way you started was motivating, like you engaged us. So I think going forward in my presentations, I will use that trick. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Okay, you have a hand there.
Thank you so much. To me, in both presentations, I learned that from the Belgium case study of Suntronics, I realized that with the more examples you get, the more knowledge you attain, because in mathematics, the more the examples, the more you understand. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, you can pass over that.
Thank you once again. My question goes to Mr. Randy, to J. Yeah. So I would like to know, like for us startups, how do you recommend us to prioritize our market efforts when we have limited resources, like money, time, and everything? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other person? Side. Looks like those are the only questions or comments. Yes, she has one.
I also wanted to inquire a little from Randy. How can startups, okay, from the case you've shared, there are grown businesses are able to do negotiations and be able to achieve what they want because they have an advantage by virtue of their growth. But for startups, how can startups be able to motivate probably the teams they are working with without jeopardizing the value of their businesses? For example, they don't have capacity to do remunerations or pay for facilitations and all those things, but still they need to do it to be able to grow.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Maria, for your interesting question. Now, I focused on scalability, but that doesn't mean that every company has to scale largely, okay? You have kinds of businesses. It is perfectly possible that you build a consultancy company, for example, and that you advise other companies, and that you just charge per hour, and that you make a living out of this. But then I wouldn't call it startup and scale up, then it's just a business, okay? But there's nothing wrong with having a business that has recurring revenue and that makes you a living, okay? The focus of today was at businesses that have the potential to scale, but that is a question you have to ask yourself also if you're doing your startup phase. Is it possible to scale this business? Is my product ready? Does it have the potential? Does it have the features to also distribute this to a huge amount of customers? And not every business is ready for that, or it's not necessary to do this with every business. So also take this with you. It's not wrong to have a good running business that just has recurring revenue, but that doesn't conquer the world, okay?
Thank you for the both very interesting questions about how can you, for a startup, do on motivation of your employees. Actually, at Howest, now we are doing research with that question. What's important to know if you have a startup, if you want a positive motivational culture in your company. And we see that even if you are on your first day of your startup, it's very important to have the principles of motivation in your head, because decisions that you make on your first day can have a huge impact in the future. And it's very difficult to change an existing culture. It's much easier to set a culture, a positive culture with positive feedback, for example, from the start, to changes after 5 or 10 years. And I think you all make a business model of your company, of your startup, and I would ask to have attention specific for how am I going to motivate my employees. Which values are important for me as founder of the startup? Because if you search people, you have to search people who think the same way as you do. So search for people who have the same value as you. That's the first tip I would like to give you. Second is give compliments to your people. A compliment is free. If you give positive feedback, that will cost you nothing, and it will motivate people not only for themselves, but it also will stimulate people to give positive feedback to you as manager, to your customers. So motivation is very contagious, infectious. If you are motivated as startup manager, you will motivate other peoples to motivate other peoples, and that's the type of culture you will have in your startup if you go to a scale-up. If the vibe is good once in your company culture, it's very hard to get it back down. It's very hard if you have a negative culture in a company to get it better. So start from day one in your business model and think, what are important values for me? How do I give positive feedback to the people? And how do I stimulate people to give that also to other peoples? And think on things that are free. As I said, a compliment is free. Ask people for their input. That's free. So people can inspire you, can help you grow as company. And when you give that empowerment, that's also free, you can make it together. And we see very successful scale-up examples in Belgium. You have still the small group of people who were there from the start because they believe in the values of your company, because they felt we have someone, I hope you in the future as business manager, who believed in the added value of the company, and we believe in our company. So such the things that who are free to make your company big in the future.
Thank you, Randy and Martin. If I forget, someone forgot their phone here. Okay. Can we clap for them again? Okay, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much, everyone who has attended. Before I invite our Dean to move a vote of thanks, our Deputy Dean, Dr. Kuli, to move a vote of thanks, I would like to announce something. So from here, we will have a group photo after, and then we have something that they have prepared for us. I think it's tea, either tea or food. Keisha knows better. Then we have another training coming up. I've been requested to talk about it. It's about digital marketing, where we shall have professionals come to train us in digital marketing. Whether you have a product or not, you can qualify. We have several social media platforms that we are not utilizing. LinkedIn, X, there are so many, WhatsApp. You find you have a skill that you're not letting people know about. And so many of us, I think, are suffering from not being able to utilize the available social media platforms. There's people who will contact us through the social media platforms, the account that you have created, because you have let them know about what you're capable of. You have let them know about your product, your services that you can offer, and that's how some people end up getting jobs, customers, and all that. So please contact Keisha, and I think Keisha has all our contacts, but reach out to her, share with you the application link and the flyer that we designed so that you can also spread the gospel. We need as many young people as possible to attend this training because it's beneficial to every one of us. Some of us don't even know how to create the accounts. You don't know how to boost. You don't know how to. So meals will be there. So just bring yourself and attend. I'll also be there. I'll be attending because I need the skills. Thank you so much. At this moment, allow me to invite Dr. Kule. Dr. Kule to give us a vote of thanks. Yeah, let me invite the guests.
Thank you so much, MC. Probably as they come in, let me take this opportunity to thank all the participants. In this room, I can see my master's students, and many more are online. For those who are around, please, can you stand up for recognition? Master's students, post-finalists, and second year. Thank you so much. And in the same room, we have our partners. I can see members of CAMTech, GRC. Can you stand up for recognition? To our dear students, undergraduates, I think from all disciplines. I can see business students. What about others from faculty of medicine? Are you in? Science? Oh, thank you. So we can say we are all represented. Now I can begin my vote of thanks. I was waiting for the DVC and our dear partners. Protocol observed. First of all, I thank you so much, UCoBS team leader, coordinator, for putting together with your team the brains that nurtured this project. As a faculty and as a university, we shall forever be grateful because it has created a bigger impact. And I know you did all this with our Flemish partners. We have had so many testimonies from the trainings that we have been conducting. When we were at StartHub Africa, we had 2 testimonies. One was on cook brooder for promoting poultry farming. We also had another testimony from herbal toothpaste. And as I speak now, this morning and even last evening, I tested the product and it's doing well. So I've started using it. I've now changed I will no longer use these other products in the supermarket. There is a lot we are doing to the community as one of our mandate as a university. The first presenter today was from the community, isn't it? You have visibly heard what we have done. And the second one was from the university. So we are trying to bring the university closer to the community, and that's one of our agenda. Dear partners, the building over there, I would say, is going to create change to Mbarara University, because the same building is going to be used for guest lectures, like what you have given today. And the same building, we are going to do mentorship, like what Randy has mentioned. There's no way you can promote entrepreneurship and innovations without mentorship. Now, today's presentations have been valuable, very valuable. For all those who have really appreciated them, can you please stand up and offer flowers to all these guys? Thank you so much. And do you know the promise I'm making, Randy and Jay Thais? We are going to upload your presentations on MAST website, UCoBS website, and our year website. Isn't that a huge? Yeah, because we as academicians, we are not interested in only money, but sharing our knowledge. So through hosting them on the websites, I feel you'll feel great when you see yourselves there. There is a lot you have talked, Thais, about scaling up. And I would like to mention that that is the biggest problem we have here in MAST. There are so many innovations going on, but they are being shelved. Through the Entrepreneurship Center and other arms of Mbarara University, CAMTech, Uganda, and then CITT, we are going to move this journey to ensure that our products for our students have visibility in all recognized supermarkets, including those in Belgium. Yes? Isn't that that will be a big milestone to us. From the presentation by Randy, there's no way you can move any inch as an organization if you can't bring close to yourself the employees. And how do you do it? Through motivating them. Today I've learned something big, the low quality motivation. In fact, most of the institutions, that is the type of motivation that is there. People are just forced to work because they are fearing punishments. They have nothing to do. I think through such a presentations, we're going to change the game so that we can bring in other valuable ways of motivating employees other than what is currently on the ground. I feel that top management through our DVC should also learn from this guest lecture, and that's the reason why I'm requesting that through probably the PRO, we host this on mass website. Yes, and even on mass email. This evening, I want to see an email going to all the staff in respect to this. With those few words, I thank you so much, members, the guest speakers, because you have supported us in increasing our visibility. Succeed we must.
Thank you so much. Can we clap for him again? You have summarized everything, and now once an elder has spoken, you can't speak. So to move out for a group photo, I hope that's where we prepared it. Is that so? Yeah, so let's move out for a group photo, and after there you can move on straight to having something. We can share a meal together. Thank you. Succeed we must.